Dear devotees and my dear children, as Buddhists, we all are so lucky to be born in the time where Supreme Buddha's dispensation prevails in this world. Now, there are times where Supreme Buddhas are not being born in this world. They are not being arised in this world, right? So, in those times, in such times, the people doesn't know how to escape from the suffering. People doesn't know anything about merits or demerits. People doesn't know what is the difference between good and bad. They just born to this world. They are being born to this world, and they live an ordinary life, like eating and enjoying themselves, and enjoying with their sense faculties, and running behind the worldly pleasures. They live such a life without knowing there is something valuable that can be done as a human, and there is something that can be gained, a valuable thing that can be gained more than the sensual pleasures. Now, normally in the Western world, the sense pleasures are the priority. Those things are the prioritized things to them, right? When they live their lives, they only need to have pleasure through the sense faculties. But as Buddhists, we all have that understanding that pursuing behind the worldly pleasures is not the only thing that we have to do as a human. As Buddhists, we know that we are being born to this world as humans to a very rare chance. This is a very rare chance that we have all received in our lives. And also we know that if we did not do something valuable, if we did not do something good to our life, if we did not collect merits to our life, our next life will be a lot more miserable one. So through that understanding, with the help of our great teacher Supreme Buddha's Dhamma, we got that understanding, and through that understanding, even for today, we are collecting merits to our life, right? So that is why today you all have observed 8 precepts, and that is why today you are listening to Dhamma on this Poe Day. And also that is why you all are collecting merits, and you have that diligent mind to collect merits to your life. And that is why you are giving dana, that is why you are meditating. You all have that understanding that as a human there is something more to do other than pursuing behind the sensual pleasures. So we all are lucky to know that, because many people doesn't know in this world about their life, what they should do as a human. Remember, when we are born to this world, we came with empty hands. We did not have anything, right? We didn't bring the cars and vehicles and the money that was used by us in the past lives. We came to this world with empty hands, right? We came to this world as people with no value. But remember, the reason to be born as a human is to add some value to our life. As humans, we need to add some value to our life. So what are the things that adds value to our life? They are the things that we grow in our life as good human qualities. They are the things that adds value to our life is the Dhamma that we practice in our lives. So many people talk about practicing Dhamma, right? And so sometimes we get advised by the monks and elders to always practice Dhamma. So what do you mean by practicing Dhamma, dear devotees? Practicing Dhamma is a vast thing and vast subject. Okay? Normally people think of the word practicing Dhamma, right? Is like just they are going to the temple or the monastery and giving some dana. Some might think that is the way to practice Dhamma. And some people think we should not be so eager to do merits, but we need to be eager in doing meditation. Give a big concern to do some meditations to our life. And that is how some people think, right? And some people think if we know more Dhamma, if we have a good Dhamma knowledge, that is what we call the practicing Dhamma, right? And also some people think that when we wisely consider about the Dhamma, right, that is the only thing that is known as the practicing Dhamma. So remember, it is not all those things are in the subject, in the area of practicing Dhamma. Okay? You cannot abandon anything. You cannot abandon one thing that this should not be, saying that this should not be practiced and this is the only thing that we should practice. Remember, when you're practicing Dhamma, we need to practice dana. And also we need to protect the precepts. And also we need to do the meditations. That is why Supreme Buddha said, there are 3 ways to accumulate merits to your life. What are those 3 things? Dana, giving alms. Sila, practicing being virtuous. And also, Supreme Buddha said, there is another thing called Bhavana. Bhavana means meditating. So through these 3 things, we can practice Dhamma. Okay? So some people may think, in this society, people say that we don't want to collect merits, because if you collect merits, your samsara will be even more long. And some people say, only we need to wisely consider about the Dhamma and we should not pay attention to do merits, to do good things. It is some sort of another thing, different thing. But Supreme Buddha had never said such a thing. Supreme Buddha said, if you did a merit, try to do it again and again. Now, you know, Supreme Buddha is the greatest compassionate person that ever lived in this world. Right? Supreme Buddha never advised to beings to make their samsara even more long. Right? Always Supreme Buddha concerned about the shortening of the life of the samsara, from escaping from these sufferings. Then why Supreme Buddha advised us to collect merits? He never said that you should not collect merits. Because Supreme Buddha said, to realize the Dhamma, also to escape from the sufferings, right, you need to have 2 things. You need to come across with 2 things. You need to meet 2 things in your life. And they are the things called the association of Kalyana Mitta. What is that? Association of Kalyana Mitta. and listening to the Supreme Buddha's teachings. Those are the two things that comes from external factors, as external factors, right? They come from externally. Meeting Kalyana Mitra, having good association with Kalyana Mitras is a thing that we get from outside, right? There must be people as Kalyana Mitras. And also, having the opportunity to listen to Dhamma is coming from a thing that comes from outside. Okay, now you are listening to Dhamma. Now where this sound and all these preachings come from? It is an external factor. Okay, so these two things comes from outside, right? It is an external factor. Remember that. And there are two internal factors, right? They are called Dhammanudhamma Patipada and Yoniso Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara means wisely considering about that listened Dhamma, right? If you listen to Dhamma, you need to consider about that wisely. You should have that wisdom. And there's another thing called Dhammanudhamma Patipada. By wisely considering about that Dhamma, you need to put it into the practical life, right? You need to practice those Dhamma facts, right? So those are the two things that we must develop internally. But the other external factors, other two external factors comes from outside. To come across these two external factors, we need the merit. Only a meritorious person will come across these two factors, right? Now we all have that lucky chance, right? That great chance. What is that? Association with Kalyana Mitras. We all can go and meet Sangha, right? When you meet Sangha, you don't hear nonsense, right? You always hear, the Sangha always advise you to do merits, right? They will preach you Dhamma, right? So when you're associating with the Kalyana Mitras, you come across with the listening to Dhamma, Supreme Buddha's teachings. So this chance, this great opportunity that we got is because of a merit that we did in past lives. This is not a simple thing. This is not a small thing that we should not consider it low, something that is very little. We should not do that. This is a very big merit that we have done in the past lives. So, having the association of Kalyana Mitras and listening to Dhamma, those two comes from external they are the external factors, and they are caused by a merit. Okay, and they are the other two factors. They are the internal factors, and we by ourselves must develop that. To develop that factor also, we need the merit. Why? If we are born as people with retarded mentalities, can we wisely consider the Dhamma? No. If we are born as constantly sick and disabled person and mentally retarded person, can we wisely consider Dhamma? No. So that ability also, it is also based on the merit. Okay. So for all these things, we need the merit. That is why Supreme Buddha always encouraged us to do merits again and again and again. Knowing that if someone collects merits to his life, he will have the opportunity to realize the Dhamma, and knowing that, Supreme Buddha advised you should collect merits. If you did something good, if you collected a merit to your life, try doing it again and again, right? That is why Supreme Buddha encouraged us to do meditation. So there's nothing that we cannot abandon in the stream of Dhamma, that we should not practice this thing and we should practice this thing only. Like that, we cannot do that. Right? We have to practice everything. We have to give dana. We have to be generous. We have to practice the virtuous life. We have to practice, protect the precepts. That is a great thing to do. And also, we have to do meditations. Right? So many times people will become interested in only one of these aspects. Right? Sometimes people may get involved in dana, but they don't consider about practicing precepts or doing meditations. When some people practice precepts, but they don't give much attention to do meditations or being generous. But remember, we need to do these things all in balance. Right? If you give dana, you need to be virtuous also. Right? If you become virtuous, you need to do the meditations also. Okay, so there are the three factors: dana, sila, bhavana. In bhavana, normally when we hear the word bhavana, it comes to our mind that we are sitting on a calm and quiet place, and we are crossing our legs, and we are closing our eyes, and we are doing the meditation. It is not the only thing that is called bhavana. Remember, this meditation can be done in various ways. Right? You don't want to go to a separate place and close your eyes and do meditation. It is also a meditation. It is also kind of a meditation. But you can bring the meditation to your day-to-day life. Right? When you are working, when you are doing your day-to-day works, you can bring this meditation to your day-to-day life. Now, in Satipatthana Sutta, there is a special way of meditation, and that is called the Sati Sampajanna meditation. Right? That is called the mindfulness meditation, meditation of mindfulness, of the bodily postures. Okay, so in that sutta, Supreme Buddha advised us, when you are walking to the front, you need to recognize that, you need to know that you are walking to the front. When you are sitting, you need to know, you need to understand that you are sitting. Right? When you are bending and contracting your bodily appendages like hand and legs, then you have to be mindful in those movements. So this is one of the quite practical meditations that we can do in our day. Now, most of the time people doesn't give much attention to these kind of meditations. When people say the meditations, when we ask from people that what are the meditations that you do, people will say, oh, Swaminas, I am doing loving kindness meditation, I'm doing Buddhanusati meditation, sometimes I'm doing Anapanasati meditation. But hardly people say that I'm doing Sati Sampajanna meditation. Right? You know what? Doing Sati Sampajanna meditation, or being mindful about our bodily movements and postures, is one of the easiest meditations to do. And also they are the meditations that quite prominent to our mind, right? Easily recognizable. Because when we are doing a loving kindness meditation, we have to deal with our mind. Right? In other meditations also we have to deal with our mind. But when we are doing loving kindness meditation, normally we close our eyes and be in a quiet place, and we are doing that meditation. When we are doing that meditation, our mind has more chance to stay away from the meditation, wander here and there. But if you can bring your mind to be mindful, if you can teach your mind to be mindful in your bodily postures, right, it will be a great help to tranquilize your mind. Right? It will be a great help to make your mind serene. Right? So try doing the mindfulness meditation at least for 5 minutes a day. You can spend 5 minutes by being mindful. Right? It is not a big thing. Right? So start from 5 minutes. Right? Sit in a place. Right? And you can either close your eyes or open your eyes and just bring your mind to your body. Just think that how I am sitting, right? What are the movements of my body? Just think that what am I doing now? If you can ask this question from yourself, what is that question? What am I doing now? Quickly, right? Within no time, your mind comes to the present moment. Isn't that so? So just now take your time and just ask from yourself, what am I doing now? Your mind will answer that I am sitting. Now, if I ask from myself that what am I doing now, I can answer in many ways. I am sitting, I am moving my hand, I am talking, I am looking at something. Like that, you can answer these things. Now, when you answer those questions, remember, your mind is in the present moment. You always experience and you are aware of the things that happens in the present moment. Okay, so there is a simple trick that you can bring your mind to the present moment and to be aware of your body. Okay, and in the next second or in the next minute, your mind will wander in somewhere else. That is the nature, which is the nature of our mind. But you should not stop doing the meditation, though your mind is wandering here and there. You should always focus on your meditations. And if you keep on doing this mindfulness meditation for like a certain period of time, it will become a habit, right? Your mind will get used to be inside your body. Your mind will used to stay inside within your body. Now remember, when you are living in normal life, our minds are somewhere. We are sitting here and our mind is there, right? So we are totally separated from our mind and body.